The Battle of Chickamauga was fought September 19th and 20th in the year of 1863. The purpose for the battle was for the Confederates to try and regain control of Chattanooga. This was one of the most significant Union defeats in the American Civil War. Chickamauga is said to be a Cherokee word meaning River of Death. This meaning was true for many of the soldiers that fought in this battle. This is the story of the Battle of Chickamauga, from a Confederate soldier's perspective.
September 19th, 1863 was a tough day of battle for both our side and the Union soldiers. The battle began when Union troops were walking towards Jay's Mill in search of water and found our cavalry waiting. Union General Thomas ordered the attack, surprising us. We were not expecting it to begin yet, but it all began that day at Jay's Mill. They sent 3 brigades to destroy our lonely Confederate cavalry. The gunshots were deafening. We held our ground until reinforcements were finally sent. Sounds of gunfire and cannons were heard throughout the battlefield. Pretty soon the Union brigades began to run out of ammunition, and we were able to advance. But it was almost as soon as we were able to advance that more reinforcements were sent for them. It seemed like their army was growing by the minute. We were relieved when more Confederate brigades were sent to aid us. The woods were very dense. When looking at the edge of the woods, all you could see were trees. But this made fighting very tough. We could hardly tell which soldiers were our own. There was some friendly fire on both sides that day, and accidental deaths happened because of that. It was complete chaos. We heard gunshots from every direction. The smoke was so thick we could hardly see the trees in front of us, much less the enemy. The Union lost almost as many men as we did that day. The total loss for both sides was about 15,000 men. I was one of the lucky ones. September 20th, 1863 marked the last day of this battle. It was a very long day. This is the site of the headquarters of a very brave general on our side, General Longstreet. His cavalry joined the battle on this day. They discovered a gap in the Union lines that was accidentally left open. This created a huge advantage for us. When we stormed through the gap, the nearby Union soldiers fled with terror in their eyes. We were able to take control. Soon after the Union troops left, they returned to attempt a counterattack. Once they saw we had taken advantage of their artillery, they ran again. There was one Union general that kept fighting with his brigades. It was General Thomas. He retreated to Snodgrass Hill, where his headquarters were located, and they stayed to fight. This earned General Thomas his nickname, the Rock of Chickamauga. General Thomas's men held a strong defense position on Snodgrass Hill. They were pouring ammunition left and right. This cabin, known as Snodgrass Cabin, served as a much-needed field hospital. Cannons erupted down on us from Snodgrass Hill. Union soldiers hid in trenches that they built throughout the night. General Thomas and his crew were not giving up. General Thomas's efforts on Snodgrass Hill allowed the Union a chance to retreat back to Chattanooga through a gap known as McFarland Gap. A lot of the Confederate generals and soldiers felt that the Union's escape was Confederate General Bragg's fault. They felt that he should have pursued the Union army when they fled. General Bragg lost the respect of a lot of Confederates that day. The Battle of Chickamauga was considered a Confederate victory. But it is very hard for me to hold my head high. We lost so many soldiers that it is hard to imagine this battle was considered a win. I feel very fortunate to have survived the fighting in this battle, and do not look forward to the next one. When I look across the battlefield, I see beautiful land and trees. But it will forever remind me of the deathly battle that took place here. Now there are monuments throughout the battlefield that help us remember those brave soldiers that fought and died during this challenging battle. This is a monument for the 15th U.S. Infantry. It shows how Union soldiers hid in trenches to attack the enemy. This monument is here to remember the soldiers from Georgia that fought and died during this battle. This monument was placed on the battlefield in honor of the Texas soldiers that served. A monument also stands to remember the soldiers from South Carolina that fought in the battle. The Wilder Monument is a tower that was built on the battlefield to honor Union Colonel Wilder and his troops. They were near the gap in which Confederate troops broke through. It is said that they held off the Confederates long enough for General Thomas to form his line of defense on Snodgrass Hill. A monument to remember the soldiers that fought and died from Florida is also located on the battlefield. These were just a few of the monuments that can be found on the battlefield. When you go on your class trip, you can look for more. The Battle of Chickamauga meant death for a lot of men that fought. The Union lost 16,000 men, in which were killed, wounded, or missing, while the Confederates' loss was around 18,000 men. Yet this battle was considered a Confederate victory. The brave soldiers that fought in the Battle of Chickamauga are forever remembered by the monuments and historical markings that are all over the battlefield.